joined all the way from across the world right now by Hailee Steinfeld. Welcome to the show, Hailee. First off, big tune. I'm a big Anderson Paak fan. I'm a big Hailee Steinfeld fan. I didn't think this collab would ever happen, but here it is.
Here it is. Thank you so much.
How did it happen? Can we talk about that first? Because I'm a big, as I said, Anderson Paak fan. He doesn't tend to team up with artists who are kind of pop artists like you. You know, he does a lot of collabs with other rappers and other kind of R&B artists. How did it come about?
It's a great question. This sort of came about through Andy and I really becoming friends, which I feel like is the coolest part about this whole collaboration, right? I think a lot of times, at least these days, sometimes you barely even meet the person that you're collaborating with. A lot of it happens via the interwebs and texts and emails and Teams and all that. But this really came about so organically and so naturally. And the best part was obviously not only having him on the song, but having his support. I was able to play him some other records as well from the project, and I think I got the AP stamp of approval. So pretty cool.
How did you meet him? Like at an award show? You like introduced through a mutual friend?
Yeah, no, we met in passing years ago. I think it was like at a maybe a Grammy party. And we found this photo that we took at this party from years ago. And I don't know that either one of us sort of like remembered that it even existed, but anyway, full circle moment. We met years ago, and just sort of reconnected more recently. And yeah, look what's happened.
So Coast, whose idea was it? Was it your idea to do that kind of sound of a song and the idea for Coast, or was it Anderson Paak had that in the pipeline and was like, Hailee, you'd sound amazing on this?
No, so it was my song. It was the first song that I did when I set out to start this new project. So Coast is about 2 years old, maybe a little bit older, which is so crazy. And I played it for Anderson back in like April, I think. Yeah, about April. So I played it for him, and I just was like, if you at all think this is decent, tell me what I have to do to get you on it, and he was in. So pretty cool.
Wow, and just such a talented musician. I'm sure you've seen it, but his Tiny Desk
oh my
is
God.
like it's my favorite Tiny Desk of all time. That and Mac Miller's, and you can just see I remember seeing him live for the first time, and he didn't have a drummer, and his first two songs, I was like, why does he have a full drum kit on stage? And then obviously he jumps on the drum kit, he does this whole thing. Such a talented musician. Did he have a lot, like, did you get him in the booth on any instruments on that song, or was it all kind of just like, hey, just the vocals?
No, he definitely contributed. It was so exciting because the first, when he recorded his part on the song, we were able to be in the studio together. And it occurred to me in that moment that I hadn't been in a studio in a session with people in years. So for my first sort of like session back to be with him of all people, of all artists, was just like, I don't know, being in the studio with him feels like why you fall in love with making music in the first place.
Yeah.
That energy, that love and passion for what you do, the creativity, the flow. It's like, it's just, it doesn't compare to anything. And like you said, he's just an undeniably talented musician. And to see him, I mean, it's like everything he does has substance. It's meaningful. Every lyric he writes, every move he makes. And I grew up listening to his records, and one of the most exciting parts about having him on this is a lot of this music is very much inspired by my California roots. And so to have him, born and raised in Oxnard, shout out Oxnard, not far from where I'm from, really sort of cements that like West Coast vibe. So we really brought it home.
And you can hear it on the song. You do work very well together, and your voices sound amazing. And it's like a match that I don't think you would expect to work, but it really does.
Not at all. Yeah.
So speaking of artists that have inspired you, you said you listened to Anderson Paak a lot growing up. I know you've talked about your love for Rihanna as well. And Britney Spears, I want to talk about her for a second. Obviously, she just released this over the weekend with Elton John, Hold Me Closer. Thoughts on this song? And thoughts on people reworking old songs in 2022? Are you here for it, or are you like, I don't know, we could probably let it be?
You know, I'm here for it. I mean, it's funny because I sort of, I mean, got my start in this whole world by, some would call it a remake, some would call it an adaptation of a film that was very, very loved. And that's what gave me my start, right? So I think it's incredible that, you know, when there are opportunities that work and that feel right, much like this Elton and Britney collab, it's just, it works. It's amazing. It's two of the most iconic artists in the world coming together on something that is so valued and loved by so many people. But yeah, what was the first part of your question? Sorry.
No, that's all right. That was kind of all I was asking. Follow up.
Oh.
If you had to rework a throwback song and they're like, Hailee, look, whatever song you choose, you've got the rights to it. You can re-release a tune. Have you got anything top of mind that's a karaoke anthem that you're like, shit, I sound good on this? I'd love to do this one.
Okay, well, you threw karaoke in there, and that my go-to, I would never touch this. I wouldn't dare. But my go-to karaoke song is No Scrubs, TLC.
Yes.
But yeah. I could never. I mean,
of course.
Like
hypothetically.
Sure, hypothetically, yeah. Maybe. But that's because you threw in karaoke. But before that, I was sort of thinking like maybe Rich Girl, Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Hey, just quickly, have you ever been to New Zealand before? Obviously, you're zooming into New Zealand right now. I'm wondering, have you ever been to this part of the world?
I'm zooming in. I've never been.
Is it on your bucket list? Do you want to get down here at some point?
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. I've heard nothing but great things. I would absolutely love to come.
I wonder what will bring you here first, music or film? Probably film. We've got heaps of movies filmed down here.
Do you think it would be that first, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a lot right now, like being filmed here, especially over COVID. There were a lot of movies, like the whole Lord of the Rings. That new Lord of the Rings movie was filmed down here. Obviously, we're known for Lord of the Rings, but a few other ones as well. So talking about your acting, you and obviously know you're an actress. When I was kind of looking into a few more of the movies you've done, you have done so many movies and TV shows. How do you kind of find time to make music and get inspired for music when you're just, you know, working so hard as an actress? And I know it's a full-time job. It's sometimes more than a full-time job, especially when you're on big projects.
Yeah, I definitely have experienced it being challenging at times. I think with this project specifically, I was able to sort of give myself the time. I had finished working on 2 shows that sort of took up the last few years of my life. And I was able to sort of designate a period of time to the music that I don't know that I've ever really had the chance to do before. At least not this amount of time. And it really allowed me to sort of be inspired by the music that I grew up listening to, and where that's of course always been an influence to me. I never had the chance to really dig deep into it and understand what that inspiration meant, what that influence meant, and how you would hear it in a song by me. So I was able to do that this time around, which was exciting. But I think in the past, it's just been a matter of, you know, finding the time and having an incredible team of people around me to help me find that time and support me. But no denying it's been a challenge doing it simultaneously, but it can be done.
Yeah, props to you. You've obviously got a passion for it. What if you could only do one of them? I know this is the hardest question on earth because obviously you love both of those things. If you could only be a musical artist or an actress.
Well, there's always musicals. So
touche. That's the loophole.
I could there you go. There's the loophole.
Love your work. Hey, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you. As I said, I'm a big fan. Really appreciate your time, Hailee.
Thank you so much. Hopefully see you in person next time.
Yeah. Take care.